I realized I was the villain in someone else's story when I finally understood why Bob hated me. There was this guy named Bob, a really nice guy. Could have been the lead in your typical coming-of-age movie. A lot of my friends were friends with him, but me and Bob, we were never friends, because Bob hated me. It didn't happen all at once. It was a series of unfortunate events. It started in junior high. We both went out for the cross-country team. He was good, but I was better. I didn't even notice him, really. It wasn't like I was out to get him. I was just always that much faster. The top 7 racers from each school got to compete in the big races. I was number 7. Bob was number 8. We were about the same size. That's important because we both also went out for the wrestling team. In each weight class, only 2 people got to compete at the meets. There was another guy who was experienced. Neither of us had a chance against him. That left me and Bob fighting for that second slot, and I was a better wrestler than Bob. I won a few more than I lost, but I was just better enough that poor Bob never beat me. But it wasn't just sports. I was a big nerd in my school, the computer guy. Bob also loved computers. There was a computer club. We tried to write crappy little programs in BASIC on the Apple computers. None of us really knew anything, but I was always 2 steps ahead of Bob. The thing was, Bob and I were very much alike. We had very similar interests, and while I'm not great at anything, I was just always slightly better than him at literally everything we ever objectively competed in. By 8th grade, he'd given me the cold shoulder. Never mean, but always distant, like he didn't like me. I might never have put it all together, though. I never thought about him and me competing until the 8th grade winter dance. I had a crush on a girl. I was socially awkward. I awkwardly asked her to the dance. I actually asked if anyone had asked her yet. She said one guy had, but she didn't think she wanted to say yes. I asked her, and she said yes. Junior high romance. I didn't think much of it. We went to the dance, had a good time, dated for like 3 weeks. Then she told me something that changed everything. Bob was her good friend, and Bob had a crush on her. Bob was the one who asked her to the dance, but she saw him as a friend. She told me that Bob basically hated me and complained about me all the time. She didn't really know who I was until Bob started telling her how awful I was. Poor Bob. Once she said it, it all made sense. I'd hate being one-upped constantly by some guy who was just like me, only slightly better at stuff. Nobody would like that. And then I swoop in and steal his date. I ended up dating his crush. I felt bad, but I also didn't know how to tell him I was sorry. And honestly, I wasn't really sorry for my actions. I didn't do anything wrong. I was just sorry that my existence seemed to make his life worse. I tried my best to give him space after that, but obviously, easier said than done. Our final interaction came after 8th grade. It was the summer before high school. My older sister was running in some 10K race. My mom woke me up at 5:30 a.m. and told me I should go. I didn't train. I wasn't ready. I didn't even know it was a 10K. Our cross-country races in junior high were only 1.5 miles, not 6.2. Still, whatever. I agreed. I went to the race, and I did pretty darn well. It was the furthest I'd ever run. My pace dropped toward the end, but I did it. I averaged 7:01 per mile and was really proud. At the end, they had a little award ceremony. I was shocked to hear my name called. The race had different age groups, and I'd taken first place. In fact, there were only 2 people in the under 14 group, me and Bob. I had no idea, but here I was, taking the first place medal from poor Bob. He finished 15 seconds after me. I swear, when he looked at me on that stage, I saw absolute hate in his eyes. I felt awful. Bob and I went to different high schools. Thankfully, I haven't run into him since. I stopped running, but I wrestled in high school, and I always hoped that him and I would face off again, and he'd beat me, and that would be his happy ending, because that's what he deserved. Not because I owed him anything, but because I finally understood what it was like to be him, to be constantly almost good enough, to watch someone just like you be better at everything, to have that person take the one thing you wanted most, and to have no one understand why you were angry, because they didn't do anything wrong. They just existed, and that was enough to ruin your day every single time.